In this video, we're going to look at how we can make a concentration of a solid when dissolved in a particular solvent. The solid in this case is a solute, and the solute we'll be working with is a Kool-Aid. And what we're going to do is we're going to weigh out 10 grams of this using this particular instrument called the scale balance, 2 decimal places, with the help of this particular carrier, which is called a watch glass. Now this watch glass here is used so as to prevent any contamination between this particular Kool-Aid and the balance ring right here. So what you're going to do now is, since we have this number, which is the mass of this particular watch glass, we tare it, which is it gets to 0, and in this case now we can actually transfer, let's just say 10 grams of our Kool-Aid into this. So take note that by weighing this, you have to be able to avoid any form of interference with our result. Like for example, leaning on this particular desk, we could interfere with our measurement, or putting some of this particular Kool-Aid on the outside dish right there. So now that is 10. I hope you're able to see this. Sorry for touching it, but yeah, it should come down to around 10. Just move it. So now that is out of the way, the next step is to actually transfer this solid into this volumetric flask. So in order to do that, all you need is a funnel with a big exit right there. So that should be enough. And so the next one we're going to do is, you need to take note of this particular ring right here. And once we're adding water to it, we don't want any form of wave passing through or passing this particular ring. So what we're going to do is we're going to add water to dissolve our Kool-Aid. And looking at this particular volumetric flask, it has a volume of 250 mils. So if you pass this particular ring here, which you can see, you actually pass this particular volume, which is 250 milliliters. So that is one thing. And second note is, once you approach this region, you want to pipette your way to this top so that the meniscus of your liquid can actually touch this particular ring right there. So what I'll do next is add water. That looks good so far. And now what we're going to do is we'll try and rinse the remaining particles here into this particular solution. So what we do is just get another water here and just use a pipette and just rinse it. And then next is we use our graduated cylinder and slowly add water to this particular region right here. Around this region, you want to leave it there. So next is that you try and stir it, either by shaking it or tilting it up and down a couple of times. Sometimes you can release it to release pressure in here by opening a little bit and closing, then shake again, and you should get majority of the solids dissolve in this particular water right there. So what we have is this right there. I would love to rinse this because it's kind of contaminated. So rinse this. Yeah, it's pretty good. And so what we do is we add a little bit more water, and as soon as I reach the neck, finally I can then add by pipetting slowly into the volumetric flask until I get to the ring right there. And while you're reading the meniscus, you want to be eyeball level with this. So my eyeball in through must be at the same level, and what you do is you drop slowly until you get at the same level, sorry, with the meniscus. We get it there, we got some bubbles there. That looks good. Yeah, so right now we are there already. You can see, because the camera is not tilted in the right way, it doesn't look like it is actually at the same level, but you see that it's touching, the meniscus is touching this particular ring. So far so good. Now we've gotten our concentration of the stock solution. You can just tilt it if you want, stir it more, and that is our Kool-Aid solution right there. So you can determine the concentration by dividing the mass of the Kool-Aid by the molar mass, which is 180 grams per mole, and from there you actually divide that number by the volume of this whole volumetric flask, which in this case is 250 milliliters. But since we have to convert this to liters, we'll have to divide this number by 1,000 for you to get the number in volume, which is liters, and then you divide your moles by the volume in liters to get the number of the concentration of this particular solution. So that's about it for making a solution. The next one is diluting. The way you dilute is that you use your volumetric flask and you get, and you gather the cylinder right here, and this is a new volumetric flask. What you do is you transfer, let's say, a target amount of volume when given the concentration. So you use your C1V1 equals C2V2, and from there, once you know the concentration of this, and you're asked to find the volume that will be used to get the concentration of this when the final volume of this particular flask is 250 mils. So in this case, I can transfer, let's say for example, close to 7. I'll just use a funnel. I can transfer into a dry beaker so as not to contaminate my stock solution, and then pipette my way to 7. So now that's out of the way, we can then transfer this over to my empty new volumetric flask. Now I can add water to rinse out any solution that is stuck inside with water, and transfer into this, and from there I add the remaining volume, make it up to this particular mark ring right there. Just pipette my way to the ring, which is what you have right there. Eyeball it so that you can get the volume or the meniscus to reach the ring level. Yeah, that is it. So that's pretty much it about first making a concentrated solution right here, which is this particular volumetric flask, and from this solution you can actually dilute a specific concentration based on the volume that you take out of this and transfer in here, and then you mix it with water to dilute that concentration to a lower concentration with increasing volume that has been added. So that is about it for this video. Thanks for following me through this. Have a great day. Stay smart.